Hello, people of the world. Welcome back to the I'm Dazed and He's Confused podcast. My name is Levon.
And I'm Garrett.
And today we are talking about the new Qualley Frage movie, The Substance, starring Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley, supported by Dennis Quaid's in this. And who else?
That's about it.
That's about it. Those are your big stars, but mainly it's Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley. It's been a big Qualley year for sure. I love to see it. You know, I'm a big fan. And Farage hasn't made a movie since her 2017 feature debut, a film called Revenge. She's a French filmmaker. I saw that movie. I have a story about that movie back in the day in my lonely summers of high school, where I would just sit there and pirate one movie a day, at least, on the computer. And I remember seeing the poster for Revenge, just this grimy lady with these big star earrings. I was like, that looks cool. And then this is a way I watched a lot of movies back then. I would just like look at the poster on these pirate websites, and I'd be like, that looks cool. Same way I saw Sorry to Bother You, it just had a dope poster. But anyways, I watched this Revenge movie, and it was unlike anything I'd ever seen kind of before at the point. Not a lot of dialogue, like very visceral and violent, a lot of nudity. And it seems Farage has taken that to 12 out of 10 in this movie. She really ramped up her nudity, violence, and just the body horror. And yeah. I'm all here for it.
She definitely did. I haven't seen any of her movies. I don't know who she is. If you couldn't tell by me being silent for the first 3 minutes. Very leaves an impression on you watching this movie.
Yes.
So, were you excited for this?
I was excited for this. Like, literally ever since seeing her first movie. I probably saw that a year after it came out, actually. So, but I've always been interested. I'm like, what's this person going to do next? And finally, this has happened. Like, 7 years is a long time. I can't imagine what it's like to go from your first movie to your second movie. That's a long wait.
Yeah, as a Man City fan, you don't know how to wait.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpack with that. Just stay winning. Anyways. Yeah. So I've been excited for this, but I've also tried to stay a little in the dark because I just like to go into movies more, like, knowing less, I guess. I'd only seen the trailer once or twice.
Yeah, we saw it together, and you were freaking out in your chair.
Yeah, because I'm hyped. And just that Margaret Qualley has been in 3 things this year. Kinds of Kindness,
Drive Away Dolls,
and now this, and varying degrees of success on all those projects. But she's been working a lot, but it's cool. Like, these are the projects I'm excited for her to be in.
These are the only projects she does.
You could say that. You could say that. I guess smaller movies with like directors with a lot of power and voice.
Her and Catherine Hunter, in my head, are like the two independent
Catherine Hunter?
Actress stars.
Catherine Hunter? Of the front room?
Yeah. They just seem to be in every...
This guy's fucking with me.
Catherine Hunter's going to be in Megalopolis. They just seem like...
Not an indie movie, though.
Okay, I'll rephrase it. They seem to be very appreciated by up-and-coming or great directors.
I don't know if I've seen Catherine Hunter in anything. other than the front room.
Macbeth.
And Harry Potter 7 or 5.
Macbeth.
But as a bit
And
part.
something else.
As a bit part.
Okay, I didn't say star of the
Incomparable.
movie. I didn't say star of the movie.
Qualley is the star, though. She... well, I was thinking about this, too, how this movie could have been made with her mom, but that would have been kind of gross to watch. Being as her mom's Andie MacDowell. Like, you know, there's kind of
That's really rude.
I just mean that... I don't mean she's gross. I mean, what happens in this movie would be even more uncomfortable. And then I was also thinking, like, because Dennis Quaid's in it, like, oh, could have just been Dennis and Jack. They could have been, but you know, it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to, and it wasn't. So,
wait, who's Margaret Qualley's dad?
I don't know who her dad is. Who the fuck cares?
I was just wondering.
No, it's probably somebody.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I wasn't. If I grew up in the 90s, I would know that, right? We would know that.
Yeah.
All right. What was your expectations going into The Substance?
The trailer looked decent. I wasn't too excited.
Okay.
But as somebody who wants to watch good movies,
Yeah.
I was like, well, I feel like I kind of have to give this a chance
Sure.
and go see it. And I knew you'd want to do it out of all the movies this week. So.
Well, that was a big thing for me, too. When I walked out, or actually when I walked into this movie, I was like, this might be I don't think I've been excited to walk into a movie since, like, Furiosa. Like, what came out after that wasn't just like, I'm going because I have to see Twisters, or I'm literally in Borderlands right now, and the expectations are the floor.
The Bike Riders, kind of.
Yeah, the Bike Riders, was that June?
Yeah. June or July.
But even the Bike Riders, my expectations were a little checked because, I mean, it had positive reviews, but not like, it didn't have these hot reviews. It wasn't glowing like this one was. So I was really excited going in. Definitely. More so than anything I've been in months.
Good. Yeah, there's that feeling of like going to movies as much as we do and ending up at a movie that's like the only good option.
Yeah.
Like you might not be
exactly.
excited about it even, but it's like this is the best option I have. So
Yep.
So then the whole thing's riding on such a thin line of like, well, did I enjoy it enough to make this worth my evening? Because I just like, I'm wasting time coming to a movie that I'm not excited for.
Yeah. If
So then
if
it's
it
like,
sucks
it-
really bad.
Yeah. So it has to be better than good for you to be like, yeah, that was a good time. I'm happy we went out. Instead of just being like, yeah, that was okay.
That's exactly it. But it seems like the movies like this, these aren't like the front runners though, that like, oh man, the movies are back, you know? Like I go to this movie and I'm like, that was a great movie, but I'm not walking out with the expectation that like, I'm so glad this big movie was really good, because I know it's probably going to be gone in 2-3 weeks. It won't be in the theater anymore, and we'll be back at square one where it's like, what good is there to go to? And I'll scroll through the movies, and then I'll get to the point where I'm like, do I go see Reagan? Do I?
Yeah.
And it's like, why? Yeah. I watched, so I guess this is back-to-back Quaid movies for me. I watched Postcards from the Edge, which came out in 1990.
And then Reagan.
No, and then not Reagan, and then
We're
this.
having a little bit of a Reagan, a little bit of Quaidissance.
A Quaid. Yeah, you know, he was like cussing and stuff in this, and
Yeah.
I was like, I thought this guy made like cheesy baseball movies now, but hey, he's back. There's that moment where he's I mean, he's pissing. That's what he's doing.
Yeah,
and his face is in the camera. It's a very unique shot. And I was like, all right, Dennis Quaid's cooking here.
Yeah.
He's an actor again.
Not, I love seeing Dennis Quaid and stuff.
Yeah. I love hearing his voice.
Yeah. Parent Trap.
Just like a dad of the 90s,
movies.
you know?
Yeah. I always say that when I was a kid, I had two men in my life that I wanted to be like.
Okay.
And it was Mel Gibson and Dennis Quaid, just because they were the manliest looking.
And they were, dude. They were at the top of their game at that time, I guess.
Old school men. Just
Sure.
hair on your arms,
Yeah.
stubble.
Like, they're just like, go play baseball, you know? And,
yeah. Mel Gibson's like, go play baseball. Be sure where you're swinging that bat at something.
Mel Gibson's like, put on a kilt and still be the manliest man in cinema.
I mean, that's easy when you have a kilt on.
For him, he made it easy.
It's always easy.
You're right. You're right.
It's easy to feel like a man when your dick's swinging.
Is that a Challengers reference?
Why is Zendaya swinging?
Oh, wow.
In their
Okay.
skirt?
No, I mean the sauna scene.
Oh,
Could you please put your dick away?
he's just sitting there like,
He's not swinging it with it. Whatever. Back to the substance. Demi Moore. This is probably the first time we're talking about her since Chris Rock got slapped after that G.I. Jane joke,
yeah,
right?
for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I think she's perfectly cast for this role and like what this movie's saying. And you have to give her so much credit for taking this movie, I think. Like, there's a lot of bravery in her role, and I mean, I don't want to say things for her, but it seems like she is confronting stuff about her own self.
Yeah.
Being a middle-aged, very famous celebrity and someone who has altered their physical appearance and then
Allegedly.
to take... Okay, sure. I mean, I remember a few years ago, I don't want to repeat the rudeness, but they were calling her Maureen Ponderosa, the Sunny fans out there. I mean, you know? And then to see her take a role like this, like, I got to give her credit. I thought she was amazing, but just like to take this role and to give as much as she did, I was like really impressed.
Yeah. First off, she does look like Maureen Ponderosa a little bit. I don't know if
Without the cat eyes.
Yeah,
and the tail, but
it's probably mostly the black. Nah,
it's the cheeks.
It's the cheeks and the black hair.
Yep.
So if you don't know anything about this movie, which I doubt you're watching a review of The Substance without knowing an hour-long review of The Substance without knowing what it is, but
sure, give them the basic rundown of what The Substance is.
The Substance is where...
Wow.
I don't know if I want to go into the thematic or the
Just go
story.
into the, let's just talk about the practical,
The story.
how the substance works.
Okay, so I'll just give away the start of the movie.
Yeah. This is just going to be the start of the movie.
So Demi Moore, she's this old, raggedy
She's
fitness
not
model.
Elizabeth Sparkles, the character.
Elizabeth Sparkles. She has her last day because she's getting old.
Right.
And Dennis Quaid, she overhears him pissing, saying bad stuff about her.
Yep.
And then...
Do you talk shit at the pisser? I never do this.
No, there's usually no one to talk shit with.
But like,
'Cause I'm not on the phone or anything.
phone in the bathroom. How do you feel about that?
I'll talk to my girlfriend while I'm peeing when we're talking, but
In a public restroom?
no, on the phone, like at my house.
Like,
I'll...
do you walk into a bathroom? Like, would you do what he does? Like, what kind of...
No, because that also just seems like that phone's gonna fall in the urinal too. He's going like, yeah, she's old and ugly. just need to get this new young thing. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, in his bad stream, his bad middle-aged stream.
That's a power stream. He's in control the whole time. That's how he wants it to go.
So she's down on herself.
Right.
Because she got her life taken away basically just because of age, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
And she goes to the doctor after getting in a car accident. And she's miraculously fine, even though she flipped 27 times.
I thought that scene was like brutal to watch.
Yeah.
Like of a car accident. It was so, oh man, there's a lot of moments that make you squeamish a little bit. And that is like one of the very first ones, just like how real and the sound and the scraping and how just dangerous it felt.
Yeah, that first impact, it was pretty jarring, even though she wasn't paying attention, and you get that like, oh, it's gonna happen, but
Right.
it was still like, whoa, and you're like, ah.
And then when the car is flipping and scraping and glass is flying. Yeah.
But then this hot dude with a birthmark who's pretending to be a doctor gives her a card for the substance and says, it changed my life.
Yeah.
And she is like, whatever, I don't need this. And she throws it in the garbage, and then something happens, and then what happens? She goes past the tryouts or something?
No, what happens is
that lunch.
Rich people get bored and be doing crazy shit. So, wait, what'd you say, the lunch?
Where does the lunch come in? Because I want to talk about the lunch with Dennis Quaid. After?
Yeah. This is before she does the substance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that scene is gross too.
Yeah.
Just throwing down shrimp or
that's
whatever.
some of my problem with this movie. It's mainly just Dennis Quaid. She's trying to make him look so gross and such like a sleazeball that I'm like mad at just like what I'm watching. Like when he was peeing, or that lunch where he's eating the full shell shrimp.
Yeah.
And you're seeing into his mouth and everything. And he's always up in your face with those wide angle lenses. The fish eye, or is it fish eyes?
They're very close and wide shots, yeah.
It's all disgusting, and every time he's on screen,
he is gross. His character's name is Harvey. I guarantee it's intentional.
Probably.
Yeah, and then she threw that like flash drive away, the little substance one, and then she plucks it out of the garbage later. And
what an awful like demonstration ad for that product. It's already scary, and then you have this the ad.
The energy was legit though. The music in this movie is one of the strong suits. Definitely, to me, it's one of my favorite scores of the year. But then again, my favorite right now is the Challenger score. So I think if you like that music, you like this. It's like, it's housey, it's bassy, it's always thumping and chugging along, but with a horror twinge, definitely. So the substance is a way to, I guess you split, you create another person out of yourself. It
splits your cells.
Yes, and then it's 7 days on, 7 days off, but you're still one. So she gets to remain as her old self, Elizabeth Sparkle, but out of her in a very, just one of the many body horror scenes. Sue comes out, which is Margaret Qualley, which is this new, young, fit, and beautiful persona. Which I guess becomes our second character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that scene that's when, at the point in the movie when I was like, okay, so this is doing a little something.
Yeah.
With her spine fully separating. Just her back cut in half.
Yeah.
And Margaret Qualley gets pushed out.
Yes.
And all the body stuff before that. It was cool.
It was very cool. But also, I think if you're afraid of needles, like if you're afraid of getting a shot or
Could never be on the substance.
donating blood, if you can't even look at it, this movie, I don't know if I've ever seen, even in movies that are about like heroin. Like, I don't see that many times a needle going in an arm. Like, there's so many moments in this movie where it's just like, and that's like surface level of the body horror here. But they will show you, like, she shows you the needle going into the vein and then, all the liquids chugging through the tubes. But that is as soft as it gets, kind of, because the other stuff is way freakier.
So after she comes out, it's Demi Moore wakes up.
No.
Elizabeth Sparkle. Okay,
Sue, who is Margaret Qualley, wakes up and has to sew Elizabeth's back together.
Which I don't think that's how it works, but
I was confused. I don't know how to sew body cuts back together, but she kept doing like one loop, cut it and tie it. And I was like, don't you like zigzag, Like if I was put in a position where I've never sewed a back together before, I would have like, what I'm saying? Like a shoe kind of.
Yeah,
like
she was a baby. She didn't know what she was doing.
But she wasn't a baby.
Can we talk about how the different people... So you're one.
You are one.
But you are
one
separate.
conscious. But your bodies are separate.
Like later on in the movie, we see that they don't know what each other are doing.
Sort of, but it always seems to... But I think... And that is the question kind of at the center of this... I guess we'll get deeper into plot here if you don't want to be too spoiled. But one of the... Because both of them accuse the other of being different people.
Yeah.
Than just... I guess Elizabeth Sparkle is the person. And it seems to happen kind of right before they have to switch back,
Yeah, like they both have a last-ditch effort to gain control.
Right, and independence.
The movie, yeah.
But she can never just, like, accept that they're two people. Or that they're one person with two different lives. And at a certain point, I don't know, maybe you can't keep being one person.
No, probably not.
How do you, thinking about if you were her...
So I had spent a lot of the time of this movie trying to just dissect its themes and what it was saying. And I think there's probably something with how youth is selfish and it doesn't think about
that's a good
your older self. Because
it'll never happen, It's just like...
Yeah, it's like, I'm young. I don't have to face this.
Yeah.
The only thing that matters is now. And, for example, Margaret Qualley doesn't switch back because she just wants some dick
Sue,
to start off with.
Yes.
And then...
That is Yes, when she cheats the substance. Mm-hmm. When it says there's no exception.
So when your underbody's not being used,
right?
It's not just that the other person lives and you take consciousness of the underbody. It's the other person just is basically dead, and you have to feed it.
Yeah, the other body's like on life support,
and then
being tube fed.
Yeah, and then the duplicate has to take bone marrow, I'm guessing.
Yeah, from the spine.
From the host.
They call it the Matrix is the original.
You
which
are
is
the
Sparkle.
Matrix.
Yeah. And then the other one's just the other self or something.
Yeah. And so she takes advantage and is selfish and is just trying to do all the things that she wants to do, the younger version. And then on the flip, Demi Moore, the older version, gets very, very bitter watching her younger self have success, which I'm guessing all older people do a little bit, where they're bitter and they think that they could be doing it or could have done it or mad.
But it's also that she did it. Like, the person that came out of her took her job.
Yeah.
But she can't frame it in a way in her mind that this is still me. Like, I got my job back, you know? Like, to me, I guess it's harder because there's the fame involved with this story. But I think, like, me as just Joe Schmo, like, I could handle it.
Yeah, that would be the life.
The 7 days is tough, but, like, I wouldn't do the exact same thing I did with my older self, you know? But she picks the same job, kind of, and just a sexier, fresher version of her old show. And that obviously causes her problems because she just can't get it through her head. And you just want to, like, yell at her, like, oh, my God, dude, that's you, you know?
Yeah, maybe she should have moved also.
Yeah, but that would have been a real logistical nightmare because I thought about that too. Like, the 7 days, to me, like, I could do something with 7 days, but then you really think about it and it's like you can't go on a trip. You have to bring this body with you, you know? Otherwise, you're going to come back and you can't switch over if your body isn't with. So it is a real pickle. You know, I would have thought about it more before I made that decision, but...
Yeah, if you were in this situation, what would you do with a hot 13-year-old body?
Whoa, wait, what? Don't say that. What the hell? Nothing. Ever. No. Margaret Qualley is not 13 in this movie.
No, because you're not old.
Oh, you mean like half my age?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't do it now.
What age would you do it?
I don't know. Never. I think retirement
After
sounds
you get
amazing.
your plastic surgery?
Like, she should just retire with her awesome house in the hills. Like, I would chill up there, throw a party every week. Like, you got to have old Hollywood friends, I'm sure.
I think also the benefit of this is you go from being in your old, dying body, and then you get to be in a young, fresh body that doesn't hurt all the time.
Sure.
Maybe think about if you're 80 years old and you take this and then you get to walk around and just not be in pain and have your full faculties.
But since it's one, like, it's still a ticking clock. And even if the Sue body, even if she would have managed it, what does the Sue body have till, like, she's 40, maybe 50, if the other one lives a long time, you know? Like, you're still going to die young.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't age.
But even so, her other self is going to continue to age, you know?
Yeah.
Like, getting really technical about how the substance works. But, like, these are all things, and that kind of, like, she wants that quick gratification. And then obviously the other major theme is just, like, beauty standards and women in the industry. It's very intentional that, like, Dennis Quaid's whole crew is just, like, these old dudes. There's not young dudes. They're all old dudes still in power, and it's their call to, like, shuffle the women out, and, like, Elizabeth is seen as old and past it, and she gets shoved out the door, and the next young thing comes in, and yet still at the helm are these old men. So that is another major theme of the movie, integral to the story.
Yeah, and then there are some younger guys, but they don't say anything, and they're his assistants.
Yeah, and just kind of let it happen, you know.
Let it happen, and then they're also learning from Dennis Quaid, I'm guessing.
Sure.
So that's just another. This movie has a lot to say, but I don't know if any of the thoughts are original, maybe to be put to screen in this way, but
Sure.
Like, it's a conversation that's been going on forever. And I feel like maybe this is the first movie to, like, really tackle it in a nuanced way.
Definitely with just how grimy it is.
Yeah, one mean theme that I had was the plastic surgery turns you into a monster.
Sure. Or how, like, she destroys herself to look good for these old, gross men, you know?
Yeah, you do all this stuff to yourself, and then you're still not happy with it. Mm-hmm. Just two 20-year-old men talking about women in plastic surgery.
Yeah. There's the picture, like, when she's looking at herself, she's got the huge billboard of Sue out her window. She's like cursed by her past, but then we get to the point where Elizabeth looking at her old picture, like, just destroys her once again, because now it's like you gave up everything, and now looking back, it's like, why did you do all that? You were fine. Mm-hmm. You're still better looking than most people, and it's definitely an effective commentary on just Hollywood, I guess. I don't know how much of Farge's experience, I'm sure a lot of it influenced this, and how long this story, I don't know how long this was in development, because, like, it's been 7 years since her last movie. So I don't know if she had other ideas that kept getting said, like, she kept getting no's, and or maybe this was the movie she was always trying to make. I'm not sure.
This feels like it would have been a tough movie to try to get made.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
She's got her Cronenberg influences. I heard she's a fan of John Carpenter, so she's a fan of these horror directors. And, I mean, the body horror is spot on.
Yeah, and a lot of it's practically based stuff, so everything looks pretty good.
Definitely. It all looks really cool. There's a lot of, like, trippy editing sequences where the sound really gets going, and you're not quite sure what I'm seeing. They keep showing the flames would burn. I liked every time that happened.
What did that mean? Are you okay?
Yeah, sorry, I just had a burpus. I don't know. It's like a new start or something, or every time. I loved all those little edits, though.
Your flames burning out, little guy.
Yeah. I'm like a fan of Brandon Cronenberg's movies, and I think if you like those, you'll love this. And if you're just into body horror, you'll love this, because that is really exciting. I went with a few people, and the guy next to me was squirming at certain parts. And the fingernail scene, people lost it. And I'm like, that is one of the more tamer ones, like, I could handle that one. I'm trying to, what is one of the parts that messed you up? Or, like, what do you think was, like, the most gross?
I think Demi Moore, we see her a decaying state of mind.
Yeah.
Throughout the movie, and then as Margaret Qualley's as Sue continues to take advantage of the substance and
quite literally steal her life.
Yeah. So she goes on a bender of like 3 months as Sue or something like that.
Stocking it up in jars. Yeah. Like it's Howard Hughes' piss in The Aviator.
Piss. And so what's her name? Robin Sparkles?
Elizabeth Sparkle.
Elizabeth Sparkles.
Is it Sparkles or Sparkle?
Her back starts to just like
sparkle.
Her back starts to get bacteria, gets infected, and she just keeps sucking stuff out of it.
Yeah.
And
That is gross.
And then she becomes an old woman because all of her life was stolen.
Yes.
And
so the thing is, if you take an extra day, the other body will, at first it's just her fingers aged, but you're taking it's an irreversible thing if you take more than just the 7 days worth of the bone marrow.
Yeah, the slow transition was very much reminded me of The Fly.
Okay. Yeah.
And but her left leg gets old, but then it looks like it's already been broken in 8 places, and she can't get up, and then she has to snap it back straight. That's what got me.
Yeah, it's like she had 5 kneecaps, and I wasn't sure which way her leg was gonna finally bend or go straight. That was gross. But I don't want to talk about any injuries. Sorry. Man City's best player just tore his ACL on the weekend.
De Bruyne?
Well, De Bruyne is also out injured, but then Rodri. So that sucks. Anyways, yeah, that was a gross bit. The injection site is certainly nasty. The teeth. Everybody lost it when Sue was pulling her teeth out.
Oh.
I've never seen teeth because you see it
yeah, you don't
loosen,
see the whole thing come out.
and then you get to see the whole root of the tooth come sliding out of this mouth. Just crazy. And then Fabergé, I love about this movie, she's just like, all right, now I'm going to show you that 2 more times. You don't just see it once. The camera doesn't cut away. You're going to see it multiple times. And that was really gross, too, because I think everybody knows how much just a tooth hurts when it's messed up. And then just to yank it out, or just how messed up your body has to be if your teeth are falling out. That's a big sign that something's very wrong. Your teeth shouldn't just fall out. They should be hard to pull out. Ugh, that was gross though. But yeah, people were squirming for that one. How about the humor of this movie? It gets really absurd towards the end.
Yeah, it does. I want to talk about how she ignored her old schoolmate.
Yeah.
And then she tried. That was sad.
That was really sad because she fucked up and she knew it.
She knew it. She was regretting everything she's done. She
One
saw
finger away.
Yeah. Your finger just has to decay, and then you'll find your purpose in life.
I felt like in that moment, if she wouldn't have borrowed that extra thing, and if her finger would have been fine.
Yeah.
And maybe if she wouldn't have had a big fucking billboard of herself out the window, that, because I was thinking this is the purpose of her other, this is where she finds purpose in her retirement, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was that guy was also creepy and weird. All the guys in this are awful.
He wasn't terrible.
He wasn't terrible, but he was just an overtly nice person, I guess.
Does it make you creepy? But yeah,
I do think that makes you a little creepy.
But but she already knew him.
Yeah.
They were old school classmates. And how about that quadruple text? Hey, something happened? What's up? It's oh God. She's just crying in bed.
Yeah, that was good acting.
Yes.
That was probably the best acting scene in the movie.
More,
or at least it was full acting.
Yeah, more effective than every scene of The Whale. Her eating, gotta say.
Yeah, that was gross.
Oh man, did she put down? Oh my gosh, the drumstick out the belly button.
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah. That was the worst one. That was the worst one.
First off, I'm terrified of my own belly button. It scares me, and so when that happened, I was like, God damn it, everything. At first, I was grinning through a lot of the visceral body stuff. I was like, this is awesome. I love movies. And then she pulls a drumstick out of her belly button, and I am like, fuck this. I am scared that will happen to me, and I have been my whole life. It's just an irrational fear I have that my belly button's going to come untied. And yeah. And oh my God. And at first, she moves that lump through her body.
You're like, oh, did a bone pop out? Right when it happens? Because it happens when she's doing the show. And
Just waiting. I thought we were gonna have to watch the replay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That was funny. Like waiting for the replay of it.
Yeah, they're like, let's get that up on the screen.
I saw something weird.
Yeah.
So to the humor of it,
Yes.
we get to the end. Sue's supposed to do the New Year's Eve show, the New Year's show.
Yeah.
For the network, and she's getting all dolled up. She stole more time. She doesn't have any substance left. She doesn't have any essence.
She can't even go in the body and get any.
Yeah.
It's like black tarry fluid that comes out.
Yeah, and but she goes anyway, and she starts falling apart, and then she goes back to the house.
Yes.
And she tries to duplicate herself, and then we get
Oh man,
I thought
it was gonna work.
Yeah, yeah, I thought it was gonna work. We get the best scene of the movie. She turns into a monster, a disgusting monster.
I will say the people I went with, Jack, who was there, he goes, "Oh, she's gonna come out as the alien monster from Alien Romulus," and I was like, "I hope not. That guy was fucking ugly." And then you get something worse.
Perfection. That was the funniest scene in the movie when she was trying to clean herself up and make herself look good, and that music's playing.
She's got a
That was the one time I laughed in this movie. I was just like, "This is amazing."
just her like mangled tit sticking out.
She sticks those earrings in.
Oh, how about the boob on the string, dude?
The boob on the street. Yeah.
That was that came out of her. Yeah.
Yeah, it was she's curling her hair or straightening her hair.
It just burns
falls
off.
off.
Oh.
There's a lot of dream sequences in this also.
It's like right before they switch.
Yeah.
They always seem to happen. Like yeah. Ooh.
But she dreams that she goes back to the New Year's Eve show. Mm-hmm. And everybody's like, "Oh, we're so happy to see you. You look beautiful." Blah, blah, blah. And then we get...
As she has the paper cutout of Elizabeth's face over her disgusting body.
And then we get the best scene of a woman on stage.
You get the best moment in live television history.
Yeah. She comes out. I didn't notice that all those women had their tits out.
Yeah, they did.
Why did they have their tits out? This was...
I don't know.
What kind of network?
It was like families in the crowd.
Yeah, there was a kid there.
I think that's another thing. Like, I don't know, just because it's New Year's and it's okay, and they're all young, fit women, you can do that.
That was like. Then I was just thinking, like, what kind of show is this? What is this?
A very surreal show.
And she just goes on a murder rampage spree.
She's oozing. She's gushing.
She's oozing, and then she starts murdering.
Yeah, one of the most thrilling endings to a movie, I think personally, of the 2020s.
Yeah, it was cool. Well, everybody was like, "Oh, it's a monster," and then they all get showered with blood.
It's like shades of Inglourious Bastards, the theater scene. The carnage of that, and everybody running, and the blood. Oh my gosh!
Carry a little bit.
There was so much blood.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's ever been more blood in a scene.
How did that first blood spurt come out? She like ripped a guy's arm off or something, and then it was just spraying.
It was just spraying out of her.
It was? Okay.
Yeah, her arm, I think,
she got,
snapped, and then
she covered the entire theater with blood.
Yes. It's just sensational stuff. And then they're all like, "Freak, you freak!" And they're all like...
And then that one dude just like decides that I'm going to be the hero and goes after her.
Like, I don't know what I'd do in that situation. Probably not attack it just because it's, maybe that is a person in there. I'm not just going to... But I get,
that's a situation to let the police handle.
A very movie thing happening.
Yeah, it was surreal.
Right. not to be taken literally. But if I was there, I think I'd just close my mouth and squint a little bit just to see what's going on.
I would try to leave.
You would try to leave?
Saw.
I would wait, I'm not trying to get trampled out the door and, shit's going down. I might pull out the phone and take a video. TMZ would pay big for that, dude.
You're like the last person in the stadium. You're just waiting for everybody to leave and you're just watching?
Yeah. With my mouth closed, of course,
popcorn.
because I don't want to give blood in there. But, yeah. I guess that's the end of it.
And then...
and a little bit after.
Yeah. She turns into sludge, and then she crawls, and she makes it to her star on the Walk of Fame, and then she melts into it.
Yes.
And then gets cleaned up and forgotten about.
Yes, she fades away into what looked like just the ketchup stain at the very start of the movie in that Walk of Fame montage. Like those Jane Fonda used to like make exercise videos like this.
Oh, are you calling Jane Fonda a monster now?
No, I'm just saying like Jane Fonda found a way out, she could have been like that. Not that obviously.
She kind of did.
I don't know what Elizabeth Sparkle
did
did before her exercise thing, or maybe that's always what she did. But I was thinking of like those 80s like Jane Fonda exercise things. Yeah. Also, do you know anybody that like actually watches these like exercise like, type of thing?
No.
Like, who is the demographic for those? I don't know.
Lonely women, probably.
Yeah. Did Peloton kill this market?
Yeah, all the home fitness stuff did.
Home fitness killed this.
You should...
Richard Simmons, you know that guy?
Yeah. I was about to say you look like Richard Simmons.
Oh,
fuck. Goddamn.
Yeah, I'm going to kill my dog.
What are we doing here? We didn't talk about how... we didn't talk about the guy on the phone.
Oh, yeah. She, like, the customer support, I suppose.
Yeah. So they keep calling him and being like, this bitch, she's fucking ruining everything.
Remember, you are the same. You are one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to stop. Are you sure? It cannot be reversed.
Oh, we forgot to say that Sue killed Elizabeth in a ridiculous fight.
Sure.
She was trying to kill Sue.
That
Elizabeth
was also
trying to kill
very hard
Sue.
to watch.
Yeah.
Just how brutal it was.
Yeah, and then old woman Elizabeth, who was definitely had a man in that suit. Did you see her running?
Old woman Elizabeth?
She was sprinting so fast.
Oh, yeah.
And she had a hoodie on or something, and it was like...
Oh, yeah. When she puts she like put her coat on and then wrapped her head up, and Margaret Qualley or Sue has a few like superhero punches and kicks, and Elizabeth will go flying across the room and break through a table. Awesome shit.
Yeah.
Just like that is the fun of the movies, I guess.
And Sue got a boyfriend when that happened, and he was like,
"Yeah,
Sue, are you okay?" And Elizabeth comes back to life.
Get the fuck out! Oh, who the hell is that?
And that dude had the fattest ass.
Wow. Okay, he was a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
She should have considered that her supply would run out eventually.
Mm-hmm. And then to switch. That was
Forever 27, I guess. Sue.
Is that how old Margaret Qualley is?
I don't know.
I thought you would have it in your
in my notes.
In your notes.
No, I actually don't know. That seems probably about right. But yeah, she's on the up and up. I hope she keeps getting cool things to work with. I wonder. I hope Farragher gets to make another movie too within the next 3 years. Would be awesome. Because these are just like, this is a cool thing to shake it up at the movies and go see,
Yeah,
It's not every year even you get something like this.
Yeah, I was talking to my dad again, and he's like, do they even make good movies anymore? Like how he always asks. And then there's good movies, but they're different now.
There's always good movies out there. People just don't seek them out.
It's not big budget studio movies that are good. It's the auteur stuff, I guess. The independent stuff that are telling a story.
Which it's always been.
They might not be a story that connect. No, but like they would get studio funding, like big studio funding, because there weren't that many studios.
Yeah.
But like now there's so many little studios who make movies. Like this is a movie.
It's true, yeah.
A movie.
Yeah.
And
movie boobies.
Movie boobies.
Okay. Those are Garrett's first words.
But they might not tell stories that everyone can relate to. But this is where the art of film is happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening in studios like ever. Each studio has like one a year that's like, yeah,
Sure.
that was a artsy. That was a director's vision.
Yeah, and then it bombs, and you're like, "How did this director get $100 million to make that?"
Yeah.
I'm so glad they did, but that'll never happen
Yeah,
again.
fuck Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
Just kidding. Oppenheimer was good.
Yeah. See, that's the thing.
Fuck Greta Gerwig.
Chill. Fuck Narnia. Fuck Netflix. Anyways,
Stop saying.
That's.
Don't fuck the first two Narnias.
I'm not talking about
Fuck the rest of it.
I'm talking about what Greta Gerwig's apparently going to make for Netflix. Anyway,
Fuck.
People that say there's no good movies out, ask them how many movies they've seen recently. And they're going to give you a list of like maybe 5.
Horizon. Sound of Freedom.
Yeah. And what they mean by good movies is just
Deadpool.
like shit they already know that they're going to like and they go to. If you're genuinely seeing a lot of movies and you're taking risks and you're like, I'm not loving this year, I can accept that because, there's a lot of, this year's been kind of wonky for me personally too. I think like the start was good, the middle's been weird, and hopefully we save it in the end, and that's just kind of how it goes. But to say that like nobody makes good movies anymore, that's an old head take. It's always been. That's the same thing as like nobody makes good music anymore. It's like you're not trying enough new music, I guess. Well,
they look for what they had when they were kids.
Exactly.
And I gotta say, my own opinion and my Letterboxd reviews,
right? Okay.
like the 70s are my highest rated decade.
Sure.
I suppose. And like that's what they're looking for is that 70s like best era for movies.
70s is a great like independent era too. I'd even go like with the 80s. But then like when we look back and we say, yeah, there are a lot of good movies in this decade. That's because you don't have to fucking live through it and actually go to the shitty movies that we're talking about. Like in the year 2036, when we look back at the 2020s, we're going to be like, there were a lot of bangers in the 20s. That must have been a great decade. We're not going to think about how we saw Borderlands. We're not going to think about...
And more movies get made than ever also.
Yeah. Which is a good thing, I think. The more voices that get to share their perspectives and stories, the more good stories I think we're going to get.
Yeah, the only problem with the low-budget auteur filmmaking is that you don't get big stories.
So should we wrap this up then?
I suppose. What is your rating for The Substance?
Well, my rating for The Substance, the long-awaited Qualley Farge movie, I'm trying to say that as best as I can, but I'm not French. But my rating is a 4.5 out of 5. Now, there were moments in this movie that kind of, I wouldn't say I wavered in my enjoyment, but that didn't feel as strong as other parts. But then again, that can just be first time watching a movie. I don't know if I'd continue to feel that way, or if now that I have the full picture, that one, it won't be I don't even know what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is, though, when it's great, it is like so good that it's like some of the best things I think I've seen this decade in certain scenes that I just absolutely love. And that will always weigh heavier than the moments that are a little bit lukewarm, I suppose. Not that this movie is lukewarm at all, but yeah, I just really loved it. I hate when old people come out of movies and they go, well, it's different, because they say that shit about everything that isn't, but this is actually different, you know? And it's always exciting to get a fresh take on something that, though familiar in theme, pretty new in spectacle. And style over substance, it's
a little
both. It's both. It is substantial style, I will say.
I think it's a little bit style over substance, but not by much. So I'm going to give this a 3.75.
Okay.
And I'm going to say I don't really think that I personally will go back to this movie. But it was an engaging and exciting first watch. But I just don't see myself, because I wasn't really caring about the story up until close near the end. Because it just felt like everything was... I didn't feel like there was a great moment an hour through this movie. And this is a long movie. Maybe like an hour and a half.
About 2 hours and 20 minutes long.
About like an hour and a half into the movie, I was like waiting for something that I was like, yeah, I loved that. Like everything was engaging and I was excited to see where it was going. But I wasn't enthralled by any of it up until she was curling her hair or straightening her hair. So I'm happy with giving this a good rating, but I'm just saying that I don't think a rewatch. I don't want to rewatch it. I'm not saying it wouldn't get better for a rewatch, but I just like, I don't rewatch movies generally unless I have to these days. And I don't see myself going back to this.
But what if Farage comes out with a movie 3-4 years from now, would you then, just give it some time? Maybe. And I don't really rewatch movies like that. Like, I don't prepare for stuff. Oh,
but
yeah. If you guys can't tell. If you guys can't tell.
I don't prepare.
I just give it time, I think this will be a cool one to watch like 10 years from now and just be like, because we also, I still think we're on such an early, I hope, in the trajectory of Margaret Qualley's career. And I wonder like how we'll look back, and because this might be like, if one day we're doing that list, like what are the best Qualley movies?
Okay, this is her best movie of the year.
Over Kinds of Kindness?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'd say so too. I don't know if this
even though
is
she didn't really do
a better performance than Kinds of Kindness.
Yeah, she didn't really do anything.
Don't say that.
Of importance or that took any real skill until the end. Also, maybe that's what I was.
The Demi Moore character definitely has more to do. So I'd say Demi Moore's the lead.
Yeah.
Qualley supporting, although they both get a lot of screen time.
It's probably like 55-45 by the end of screen time.
But like
it probably
45
like
of 2.5 hours is a long time. So you definitely get a lot of both.
Yeah, there's really no other. But this is what I mean, though.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind. I'm not going back to that point. We're cutting it out.
Okay. So yeah, go see The Substance. Take your parents. Take your grandma.
Don't do that. Take
your little brother.
Take your gross best friend who would love this.
Yeah. Get, me and Garrett love to say, get goopy. And this is a goopy movie, so let's get goopy. Yeah.
Get cronked, get gooped.
Get slimy, get bloody.
Get sludged.
Yeah. Yeah. And don't you just love a horror movie that has nothing to do with like October or fall? It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Not really, but
it's beautiful. Is this a Christmas movie? No, it's a New Year's movie.
It would have been hilarious to see that monster in a Santa hat, though.
What if the monster would have sang Old Lang Syne? That would have been amazing.
Oh, friends that we forgot. Da, da, da,